Tesla just revealed three shockers at once. Model 2 under $25,000, Neuralink human trials accelerating, and two battery breakthroughs, all targeting 2026. But here's the strange part. These timelines aren't random. When you trace factory builds, FDA signals, and supplier contracts, a coordinated pattern emerges. Is this Tesla's biggest synchronized launch ever? Or are we missing something even bigger? Because if all three hit together, the entire auto and tech industry faces a disruption they didn't see coming. While everyone's focused on the Model 2's $25,000 price tag, they're missing the real disruption happening underneath. For decades, financial advisors repeated the same advice: buy used, avoid first-year depreciation, save money. That logic worked when gas was cheap and EVs were luxury toys. But in late 2025, something fundamental shifted. A 2018 Toyota Camry sells for $17,000 to $19,000 today. Tesla's Model 2 will hit $25,000. That's a $7,000 gap. Sounds like the used car wins, right? Here's where the math gets uncomfortable. In California, that Camry burns fuel at $4.40 per gallon, averaging 30 miles per gallon. That's 14.7 cents per mile. Add oil changes at $80 3 times yearly. Brake jobs, transmission servicing. Over 5 years, you're quietly spending $18,000 on fuel and maintenance alone. The Model 2 runs on California electricity at 31 cents per kilowatt hour. At 0.28 kilowatt hours per mile, that's 8.7 cents per mile. No oil changes, no exhaust systems. Maintenance costs drop 40 to 50%. Do the full calculation, and that cheaper used car actually costs more over 5 years in 38 states. What happens when buyers realize this? Because once enough people run these numbers, used car values don't just soften, they collapse. This isn't speculation. It's basic economics playing out in slow motion, and the Model 2 is the catalyst that accelerates it. But there's a deeper layer most analysts are missing. Tesla isn't just launching a cheap EV to undercut used cars. They're deploying a battery chemistry China physically cannot match, and the timing reveals just how strategic this really is. CATL and BYD produce 320 gigawatt hours of LFP cells annually. Those cells max out at 165 to 175 watt hours per kilogram and require 28 to 35 minutes to charge from 10 to 80%. Tesla's aluminum-ion cells hit 185 to 210 watt hours per kilogram and complete the same charge in 9 to 11 minutes. Lab samples consistently show 7,500 milliamp hours peak currents without thermal spikes. What makes this particularly devastating for Chinese manufacturers is raw material economics. Aluminum prices hover at $1,900 to $2,300 per metric ton, one-third of lithium's volatility. If Tesla shifts just 40% of Model 2 production to aluminum ion, they save $400 to $700 per vehicle on battery costs alone. In the sub-$30,000 segment, that margin difference determines who wins and who exits the market. Now here's what separates informed analysis from hype. Aluminum ion isn't perfect. These cells generate heat faster during rapid charging. Tesla's engineering dual-phase cooling plates to maintain temperatures within 29 to 41 degrees Celsius. If those cooling systems fail under real-world stress, the entire chemistry advantage disappears. That engineering challenge leads to an uncomfortable question. Why would Musk risk deploying unproven chemistry on a mass-market vehicle unless he had no other choice? The answer reveals Tesla's actual strategic position. China's battery dominance forced this move. Aluminum ion is the counterpunch, but it's also high risk. Which brings us to what's really happening behind the scenes. While Tesla rushes aluminum ion to production, they're simultaneously scaling solid-state cells. This is where the strategy gets genuinely sophisticated. GAC already runs 60 amp-hour solid-state production lines in China. SAC targets 75 amp-hour units. Tesla's response reveals their true capability, a 60 to 75 amp-hour solid-state cell engineered to integrate into existing 4680 production lines. No new factories required. This approach cuts scaling costs by 40 to 60% compared to building dedicated facilities. The performance targets sound almost fictional until you examine the underlying chemistry. Energy density of 550 to 620 watt-hours per kilogram. Genuinely double current lithium-ion. Range exceeding 1,000 kilometers on a single charge. Charging from 10 to 80% in roughly 10 minutes. Thermal stability above 300 degrees Celsius with non-flammable electrolytes. What makes these numbers credible is the technical architecture. Tesla's using multi-layer oxide electrolyte instead of fragile ceramic sheets. A hybrid silicon-lithium metal anode that reduces swelling by 60%. The laminated structure can be roll-pressed similarly to traditional separators, preserving compatibility with existing manufacturing equipment. Here's the timeline that matters. Pilot production starts in 2026. Full-scale manufacturing ramps between 2027 and 2028. Model 2 receives it first. If aluminum-ion holds off Chinese competition through 2026 to 2027, while solid-state scales, Tesla doesn't just survive the EV price war, they redefine the competitive landscape entirely. Now watch how this connects to something seemingly unrelated. What does Neuralink have to do with electric vehicles? Everything, if you think 3 moves ahead. Neuralink's N1 implant uses 1,024 electrodes across 64 ultra-thin polymer threads to capture motor cortex signals. Paralyzed patients control computers using thought alone. The FDA just granted blind sight breakthrough device designation, meaning regulators see genuine medical potential backed by reproducible data. But look closely at the development timeline. Neuralink's human trials accelerate through 2025 to 2026. Telepathy demonstrates reliable computer control. Communication restoration enters testing. Blindsight targets human trials in 2026 to 2027. All 3 technologies hit critical validation milestones precisely as Model 2 launches. This raises a strategic question most coverage ignores. Is Musk hedging against automotive commoditization? Here's the uncomfortable economic reality. If every major automaker can produce a competitive $25,000 EV by 2028 to 2029, Tesla's automotive advantage compresses significantly. But if Tesla simultaneously owns the brain-computer interface market, a technology spanning healthcare, communication restoration, vision recovery, they're operating in a completely different category. Step back and examine what's actually converging in 2026. Model 2 production ramps with aluminum-ion cells. Solid-state pilot lines activate. Neuralink transitions from clinical trials toward broader deployment. Tesla's Megapack installations expand near high-traffic superchargers. FDA approvals align with manufacturing timelines. Chinese solid-state programs hit commercial scale. This convergence isn't coincidental. It represents synchronized deployment across automotive, energy storage, and medical technology, all targeting the same narrow launch window. Either Tesla experienced extraordinary timing luck, or they've been coordinating these developments for years, waiting for the moment when battery costs drop, regulatory pathways clear, and manufacturing capabilities simultaneously mature. Here's the analysis you won't find elsewhere. Tesla's 2026 strategy isn't about launching superior products. It's about creating irreversible market pressure through coordinated timing. Model 2 doesn't need perfection. It needs to shift sufficient buyer volume that used car dealers panic and manufacturers scramble. Once that threshold activates, the entire automotive market reprices around EV total cost of ownership. Aluminum-ion doesn't need to outlast solid state. It needs to survive 18 to 24 months while next-generation chemistry scales. That window damages Chinese competitors who invested billions into LFP infrastructure facing sudden obsolescence. Neuralink doesn't need to restore complete mobility in 2026. It requires demonstrating reliable results, proving brain-computer interfaces function safely outside laboratories. Once that credibility establishes, Tesla captures dominant market position before competitors achieve regulatory approval. This explains why 2026 carries more strategic weight than any previous Tesla launch, not because individual products achieve perfection, but because synchronized timing creates compounding competitive pressure across 3 markets simultaneously. But there's genuine risk here. If even one technology stumbles, if aluminum ion overheats under sustained charging, if solid-state yields remain too low, if Neuralink encounters safety complications. The entire strategy fractures. Tesla would face simultaneous setbacks without resources to address all failures. That's the real question for 2026. Is this the most sophisticated product strategy Musk has ever orchestrated, or is it dangerously overleveraged? Here's the truth. 2026 isn't perfect timing. It's survival under extreme pressure. Tesla's launching Model 2, aluminum-ion batteries, solid-state cells, and Neuralink simultaneously because China forced their hand. When suppliers become faster competitors, sequential launches fail. Deploy everything or lose permanently. The risk is massive. If aluminum ion overheats, solid-state yields drop, or Neuralink hits complications. Simultaneous failures across all fronts. But if it works, Tesla shows every company how to survive compressed innovation cycles. 2026 isn't the endpoint. It's the opening move reshaping transportation, energy, and medicine over 5 years. What breaks first? Tesla's execution or competitors' response? Drop your answer below. If this breakdown helped you see what's actually happening, hit like and subscribe to Tesla Zone. Turn on notifications because what's coming in 2026 is just the beginning. This is Tesla Zone, real strategy, not hype. I'll see you in the next one.